Welcome to episode 2 of the Rear Naked Toke. This week's episode is brought to you by Coastal Sun, More Cowbell. Take it away, Chris.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Episode 2 of the Rear Naked Toke, where tonight I will be talking about UFC Fight Night Dos Anjos versus Fiziev. Unfortunately, Adrian, my twin brother, is not going to be able to join us for episode 2. He will be back for episode 3. Unfortunately, 4th of July weekend with UFC 276 and the holidays was just a crazy weekend. And we actually have conflicting schedules ourselves. But he will be back for the Rear Naked Toke episode 3, where we will be talking about UFC on ABC 3, where Ortega will be taking on Yair Rodriguez. It should be an exciting one. So for right now, it's just going to be me, and with us as always is Daniel Cormier, aka Mayor McCheese, Fathead Cormier. So let's get right into it. Really quick, let's recap UFC 276. Not going to spend too much time on it, but let's talk about Izzy for a second. Izzy, you were talking all this shit, pre-fight about showing up and giving us an iconic event, and it's the Super Bowl, and how, you said it yourself. Let's just pull it up.
Last thing for me, you seem to be kind of a master of creating iconic moments. I guess what's your goal here? What's your goal here?
This is big, bro. This is for me, this feels like, I don't know, Super Bowl, WrestleMania, like that type of big. So, yeah, I'm just gonna show off and show out. That's what I do.
You mentioned about putting on a show, which you obviously like to do. Do you think by the time we get to Sunday, this event will be remembered as one of the great international fight weeks, like UFC 189 and something like that?
Facts. I feel so. I feel like this is one of those ones that are gonna be memorable, because I like to make things memorable. You know how I do. I put this on myself, so that way I know, like I said, pressure makes diamonds. And when you put that pressure on me, when I put that pressure on myself, I will shine like a diamond.
With that kind of talk, Izzy, how can you not expect us to be excited, to expect not only a better performance, but a finish? So when you say things like shining bright like a diamond, or shining like a diamond, or whatever the Rihanna lyrics you were thinking about at the time, this pressure that you put on yourself, we get excited. And then and then post-fight press conference, when fat ass John Morgan asks you about the boos that you were hearing, you have this to say.
There were boos at the end. I'm just curious, does that affect you at all?
They've been here since 3 p.m. They're all drunk. They don't know what real fighting is or real finesse.
So let me get this right. Had you shined like a diamond and given us an iconic moment, and the crowd goes crazy, so that is when your fans know what they're talking about, when they believe in you, and the ones that doubted you, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? Yet when they hold you accountable with boos, because you said it. We didn't say it. You're the one that said it. So those boos are just, your fans holding you accountable for what you said. So fuck them. They've been drinking from 3 o'clock, since 3 o'clock. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? They're just drunk fans that don't know shit about fighting. So, Izzy, they were your words. You said it. We got excited. So I highly suggest you do stop doing your nails. On to the next one, all right? Now let's get to you, Strickland, because A lot of people expected at least for you to get past the first round. How did you not play any type of defense while you're attacking? Put your hands up, something, but you walked into a left hook that seems so basic, and yeah, you don't deserve the nickname Strickland, because had Principal Strickland from Back to the Future been a UFC fighter, we could have expected a lot more toughness from him, and at least not so much stupidity from Strickland. So you're being stripped of your Strickland nickname. Anything, Strickland?
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker. You remind me of your father when he went here. He was a slacker, too.
However, Strickland, you are the recipient of our weekly Smokies You Got Knocked the Fuck Out award. Smokey?
You got knocked the fuck out!
And you are this week's winner of the Rear Naked Tokes Episode 1 Smokies You Got Knocked the Fuck Out award. So congratulations to Sean Strickland for receiving our very first Smokies You Got Knocked the Fuck Out award. It was well deserved. And yeah, good luck on the next one, Strickland. One more award to give out tonight, and that award is the Rear Naked Toke Submission of the Week. And the Rear Naked Toke Submission of the Week award will go to Jalen Turner, our boy from San Bernardino, California. Never doubted you, man. I mean, you're tough as shit, and we knew that you were going to finish this in the first round. Never doubted it. Thank you for keeping our parlays alive. And you are the winner of an 1/8 of the Coastal Sun More Cowbell. So in order to receive your award and to redeem it, must be in person. And anytime you want to join us, Jalen, I mean, we would love to have you on this episode so we can smoke a bowl of some more cowbell.
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
All right. Congratulations, Jalen Turner, for our very first The Rear Naked Toke Submission of the Week award. So, just a quick recap of my picks for UFC 276. I did pick Adesanya to win. He won. Volkanovski, I also picked to win. He won. Strickland, I picked to win. He failed miserably. Thank you very much, you bastard. Barberina, I picked to win, and he won via standing TKO in the second round against Ruthless Rob Lawler. And I did pick Sean O'Malley to win. However, that ended in a no contest because of an eye poke, O'Malley. And O'Malley does not win, he doesn't lose, and he remains undefeated. Alright, so let's get right into it. UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Fiziev. Let's start with the first fight in the main card, which is going to be Nina Nunes versus Cynthia Calvillo. Now, Nina Nunes will be moving up to flyweight for this bout. It will be her first bout at flyweight. And even though she hasn't been as active as Cynthia Calvillo in the recent years, and she's coming off of 2 losses against a very tough Mackenzie Dern and Tatiana Suarez, she's coming out of American Top Team, a very good training camp. And before her last 2 losses, she has wins over Claudia Gadelha back in 2018, also Angela Hill, 2017. So she's got some victories over some notable opponents there. She is 36 years old. Let's take a look at Calvillo, who is all in her mid-30s, 34 years old. And although she has been a little bit more active than Nina Nunes, she's coming off. She's she has three losses now in a row. Losses to Andrea Lee, Jessica Andrade, and Kaylin Chikugian, all very tough opponents. And a win against Jessica I before that. So in her last 4 fights, she is 1-3, and her one victory coming against a not so impressive Jessica I. So I'm gonna go with Nina Nunez on this one. Nina Nunez with a record of 10-7, Cynthia Calvillo with a record of 9-4 and 1. I think that Nunez's debut at 125 is going to be successful because she's not going to have to cut 10 extra pounds to make straw weight. She's going to come in, I think, stronger, tougher. I mean, she's training with killers at American Top Team as well. And like I said, even though she hasn't been as active in the recent years as Cynthia Calvillo, I don't like the way that Calvillo has been losing her last fights. A corner stoppage in round 2 against Andrea Lee. First round punches against Jessica Andrade. Granted, she did go the distance with Kaylin Chikugian, and she lost by decision. So I don't see her breaking that losing streak this week, and I will go with Nunez for that fight with the victory. All right, let's get right into the next fight. That would be Michael the Menace Johnson versus Jamie Mullarkey. No nickname for Jamie Mullarkey. So, Michael the Menace Johnson. I mean, been in the game forever, since 2012 with some wins over Tony Ferguson, Joe Lozon, Edson Barboza, and his most popular win over Dustin Poirier, which was a first round knockout. Actually, his most popular win was against the GOAT, Artem Lobov. All right, sorry about that one. Since his fight with the GOAT, Artem Lobov, he's had 4 losses and 1 win. That 1 win was his last fight against Alan Patrick, which was a pretty cool counter left in the second round where he slept Alan Patrick. Confidence is boosting right now with Michael the Menace Johnson. He believes this is his comeback. He's not giving up, 36 years old. And you should see this guy's Instagram. I follow him. He's totally pumped, and nothing's stopping this guy right now. I forgot to mention that Michael Johnson is also affiliated with Kill Cliff FC. So what needs to be mentioned is that he's training with Iron Michael Chandler. He's also training with Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque, among other big names. Okay, let's get to Jamie Mullarkey, who is coming off a loss against Jalen Turner, who we were just talking about in this episode. Jalen Turner, obviously a monster, got him with the right hook into ground strikes in the second round. That was Mullarkey's last loss. So before that, he has 2 wins. And he also, I mean, we're not going to take anything away from Jamie Mullarkey. This is going to be a great matchup with 2 skilled strikers who are not afraid to engage and take that risk. Johnson, very capable of going the distance. The experience is there. I mean, we're talking about a lightweight bout over here, which oftentimes will end in a decision as opposed to a finish. So, like I said, Michael Johnson more than capable of taking it 3 rounds in this bout because it is a 3-round bout. But if he can expose holes in Malarkey's game, then he will find that opening, and he can and more than capable of knocking Malarkey out. Malarkey also capable of knocking Michael Johnson out because we've seen it happen before. More likely to lose by submissions in looking at his history over here than a KO. Michael Johnson's last time he got KO'd was by Josh Emmett with an overhand right. That was in the 3rd round, and that was in 2019, 3 years ago. So, not very likely that we'll see Michael Johnson getting knocked out. I don't think we will. I think it's going to be the other way around. So I'm going to give this fight to Johnson with the unanimous decision, if not the KO victory. Moving on to the next fight, we have Jared Vanderaa against Chase the Vanilla Gorilla Sherman. A heavyweight bout we got here with Sherman coming in with a 15-10 record. Jared Vanderaa with a 12-8 record. So these fighters have a lot in common in the fact that they are both doing terribly lately in the last few years. We have Chase Sherman, who hasn't won a fight on his last 4 fights, coming off of 4 losses. We have Jared Vanderaa coming off of 3 losses. And they both have lost to Alexander Romanov. Jared Vanderaa was able to make it at least to the 2nd round with Romanov, as where Sherman was not as successful. He didn't even make it past the 1st round, where he got submitted by Romanov. They both have gone the distance with Arlovsky in 2021. Actually, Vanderaa in 2022, where he was able to at least make it a split decision loss to Arlovsky, whereas Sherman's loss to Arlovsky was a unanimous decision loss. Chase Sherman's only win was against the Hurricane Ike Villanueva back in 2020. And Jared Vanderaa's only victory in the UFC is against Justin Tafa. And that was in 2021, a unanimous decision win. So I'm going to go with Vanderaa solely based on the fact that he has a win over Justin Tafa, who, is no joke in the heavyweight division. I mean, Justin Tafa just head kicked Henry Hunsucker in his last fight to win the fight in the 1st round. So this guy is a very dangerous guy, and just so happens that Jared Vanderaa has a victory over him. So that's basically what I'm going to base my decision on. I don't think we're going to see too much excitement here. It's probably going to go the distance, and it's probably going to look pretty sad at one point too. So I'm hoping for a KO, hoping for a knockout or a finish. I mean, we are talking about the heavyweight division here, heavy hands. Hopefully they let them fly, and we see some excitement. But I'm going to go with Jared Vanderaa with the victory. All right, we are nearing the co-main event of this card, but before we do that, let's talk about the fight before that, which is Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Said Nurmagomedov. Now, I am really looking forward to this fight because I think we're in for an absolute war between these guys. I'll just tell you right off the bat, I'm going with, I haven't seen the odds, but I would imagine that Said Nurmagomedov is just a massive favorite in this fight. Because all you got to do is just look at his affiliation. It says Dag Fighter. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna say I like Andrade for the upset. I'm just gonna assume that he's coming in as an underdog in this fight. Andrade's got lots of experience on the ground, a lot more experience in the octagon. Granted, he is a bit older than Nurmagomedov. Andrade is 37. He's got a few more miles than Nurmagomedov, who is 30 years old. But Andrade has been looking absolutely spectacular in his last couple fights. His last fight, wasn't supposed to go to the second round. He took pretty mean shots against Morozov, but was able to survive that round and come out in the second round with just a clinic of shots that put Morozov on his ass. And where he got this strength and where he got this second win from after taking a beating like that in the first round is just beyond me. Didn't know where it came from, and was able to pull off a rear naked choke in the 3rd minute of the second round. The fight before that, perfectly timed left hook, which he was able to get the first round victory against Perello. A loss before that against Lerone Murphy, unanimous decision loss there for Andrade, but before that a win against Renan Barao in 2019. So is it going to be a cakewalk for Andrade? Not saying it is, all right? Said's coming off of 2 big first round victories. One against Cody Stamann, a guillotine choke in the first round. That was his last fight. And before that, also a first round finish with the left hook ground and pound against Mark Striegel. But let's face it, every time someone hears that last name, Nurmagomedov, what do they think? Tiramisu, right?
This is #1 bullshit.
So that's not going to be this case this time around. Just because his last name is Nurmagomedov, you're not going to get Khabib. That's what everybody thinks. You're not going to get tiramisu. This is #1 bullshit. So I do think Said Nurmagomedov is going to run into some problems Saturday night against the more experienced Douglas Silva de Andrade. So I got Andrade for the win. All right, we have made it to the co-main event of the evening. For this, we have a middleweight bout for you guys. We have Armen Petrosian. His nickname is Superman Petrosian, all right? He's fighting out of Academy MMA. That's his affiliation. His opponent is going to be, want to pronounce this right and not mess up his last name, I think you pronounce it Kiao the Natural Bojalhio. All right, and he's fighting out of Brazil, and his affiliation is Fighting Nerds, and they're out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. All right, interesting affiliation group that they decided to go with, but nonetheless. So these guys happen to share a first round KO on the same night in the same octagon on a Contender Series in 2021, back in October 19th, 2021, not too long ago. So it seems like these guys were destined to fight each other at some point. So let's take a look here. We have Bojalhio over here. I'm going to call him the Natural, just to make it easier for myself. His last fight was a unanimous, technical unanimous win. And before that, like I said, he had a pretty impressive win of the Contender Series. So we got Petrosian over here, and he actually has a split decision win over Gregory Rodriguez. No easy task there. Gregory Rodriguez has a lot of experience in the octagon. And from the looks of it here, looks like Gregory Rodriguez tried to take him down, and Petrosian was successful in escaping that takedown and getting back up on his feet, and had a lot of output actually in that fight against Gregory Rodriguez. Looks like he busted him up pretty good. So if I had to make my prediction over here, I'm gonna guess that the Natural is definitely gonna try to take Petrosian down to the ground. But like I said, Petrosian was able to escape these takedowns against Rodriguez. Whether or not it's gonna be that easy against the Natural, we're gonna see. But I do expect the Natural to take him down, but not hold him down there for too long. I think Petrosian's going to get out of there and show some of his high skill output, whether it be to the body, to the head, or even to the legs, because from the looks of it here, Gregory Rodriguez got it all over the body from Petrosian. And we're going to see how good the Natural's ground game is. See how well he's able to keep him down on the ground, if he's able to do so and do some damage to Petrosian. But I don't see that happening. So my guess is that Petrosian is probably going to start doing some pretty good damage the later stages of the second round. Might go into a third if he doesn't finish him in the second. So yeah, I'm gonna say Petrosian. All right, we have arrived to the main event of the evening, and this fight is going to be at 155. We have the legendary Rafael dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev. And yes, their first names are spelled exactly the same, but pronounced differently. All right, we're going to start off with Rafael from Brazil. An absolute legend. I mean, everybody knows this guy has been around for a very long time, has been in absolute wars. Here's an interesting fact. In his last 4 fights, he has spent 90 minutes in the octagon. So, a lot of miles, a lot of wars, a lot of skills this guy possesses. His affiliation is King's MMA, you know, training with legends such as Mauricio Shogun Rua, Fabricio Verdum, and of course the Italian Dream Marvin Vittori. And then we have his opponent Rafael Fiziev, and his affiliation is Tiger Muay. All right, and looking at the guys he trained with, not a lot of big names, you know, but the guy's a killer nonetheless. And let's take a look at his record over here. He is a 11-1 fighter. His last loss was actually his UFC debut, and it was against Magomed Mustafayev. All right. Since then, he's been on a 5-fight winning streak, with a impressive left hook first round victory over Renato Moicano, and a unanimous decision win over Bobby Green. And in his last fight, a wheel kick in the 3rd round against Brad Riddell. Pretty impressive stuff. All right, not going to take anything away from this guy. However, he's going to be counting on a quick knockout against Rafael dos Anjos, I believe, and he's not going to be successful. Rafael dos Anjos is going to be smarter than that. He's going to score little points here and there, and have really good movement, I think, left and right. That's going to confuse Rafael Fiziev. And it's going to be a pretty boring first round, actually, I believe. Fiziev, he better be aggressive, and he better try to surprise Dos Anjos, I believe, if he's going to have any success in this fight. Because, like I said, I see Fiziev's only success coming in the early rounds by a knockout. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty easy for Rafael to make him play his game and take him into some deep waters and into some championship rounds, which Fiziev doesn't seem to have much experience in. I mean, I don't think he's ever gone a five-round fight in his career. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it damn sure hasn't happened in the UFC, and it damn sure hasn't happened against anyone like Rafael Dos Anjos. So I'm going to say Rafael Dos Anjos by decision. It's not going to be an easy victory for Rafael Dos Anjos, but I think it's going to be a unanimous one, 3-2. Possibly, in one judge's eyes, 4-1 if Rafael is able to play it really smart. But like I said, he's going to have to avoid the early onslaught by Fiziev in the first and second round and the early rounds. So, but like I said, he's going to be unsuccessful, and I'm going to go with Rafael Dos Anjos with the win. And that's going to do it for episode 2 of the Rear Naked Toke. Thank you so much for joining us, me and Daniel Cormier, Mayor McCheese, for another episode. Like I said, unfortunately, Adrian wasn't able to join us this week, but he will definitely be joining us next week. Don't miss it for our picks, our shit talking, and our jokes. And we're going to be going over UFC on ABC 3. Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez should be a very good one at 145. And the co-main for that one happens to be Michelle Watterson, the karate hottie, coming back versus Amanda Lemos. So that's going to be a flyweight bout, women's flyweight bout, 125. Sorry, I couldn't spit that one out. And it should be an exciting one. So, see you next week for the Rear Naked Toke episode 3. Till then, toke it easy, my friends.